Oh, hello everyone. It's been a while. Well, let's say that this past week I've been sick. So yeah. Well, now that I feel a little better, I think it's time for me to like come back to do some video. Anyway, Genshin update 2.8 is already out for some times now, and yeah, they are very. I would say the update is very good so far. I had a lot of fun playing the events, even though some of them are just kind of headache. Anyway, let's get to the video. So yeah, as you can see, another tier list. Once again, here's a disclaimer. I may probably offend some people because my playstyle is definitely different than yours. So if you find this video kind of offensive, well, sorry about that, but there's nothing I can do about it. Also, towards any other mains who is watching this, if you find my placement is somewhat lower than expected, you can just type in the comments and tell me why. I'll take it to consideration. I mean, I like to try new things after all. Anyway, let's start. So, first of all, let's get these three into the absolute bottom tier due to the fact that they are gonna be available in the next update. I have no idea about them because I don't want to. Well, to be honest, not really, because I would like see some leaks. I mean, leaks are kind of everywhere. So yeah, I kind of know on what these three can do, but without testing it myself, I cannot give it a full opinion about it. So I'll just put them here as they are the upcoming characters. Looking forward to them. Maybe they'll be good. Anyway, let's start from the bottom to top. So let's start off with Heiso. I do not have Heiso, so he'll be here. I've seen people say sorry. Anyway, you see, even though I'm somewhat better than like few weeks, I'm still coughing like this. So sorry if my coughing is kind of disturbing. Anyway, Heiso, I've seen people say that he's a good DPS, but I only try him on trial, but trial doesn't tell you everything. You gotta see it yourself by having him. But for some reason, he just doesn't want to show up on my rolls. I don't know why. So yeah, he'll be here at the end tier. Then follow up with Jilan. I don't know, I may offend some people. To be honest, I don't know how to pronounce her name in Chinese properly. I'm not Chinese, even though I know how to speak Chinese, but not really good. And again, I don't know how to pronounce Yelan properly, so sorry about that. Anyway, yes, I do not have Yelan, but I tried her on many occasions, and I would say she's on a very strong tier. She's a great support. Being a hydro character, is already like a great support. Like, many hydro characters are good support, but also some are also good DPS too. but I find Jilan very strong for her support role. Like her burst is basically the same thing as Xingqiu does, same thing as what Xingqiu does, but the thing is, from what I have seen and from what I've heard, like there are people saying that C2 Jilan is really good, but for C0 she's not like broken. So yeah, I'll just put her at very strong tier, even though I don't have her. I wish I do. On any of my account, like either Asian or American account, I don't mind. Anyway, Cookie Shinobu. She's a multi-purpose, in my opinion, a multi-purpose. She is a very good healer, quite decent on applying electro. Her damage though is let's say if you just build her on like leaning towards support, her damage is not gonna look so good. So yeah, I built her on a support role. I mean, look at my cookie. Almost nothing. She just has sorry. Yep, she just has somewhat high elemental mastery, high amount of HP, and some healing bonus. This is what she's carrying for Peace Tenacity, due to the fact that her skill has like almost full uptime, and yeah, you can keep getting the tenacity effect. Nothing interesting, but she's still C0. All talent at 666, and Cookie's healing for her hair is around 3,000 per her tick. And if her passive is up, which one is it? Yeah, this one. If this one is up, she heals up to 3.2k, which is very good. So yeah, Shinobu is very multi-purpose, but yeah, she's just. But again, multi-purpose is I would just put her in good tier. She's like, I mean going towards one side, or like between being an offensive or being a support, going like trying to investing on one side will mean that the other side will be kind of crippled. So I will just put her in good tier. But again, she's a really good support. She's a good healer. If you build her correctly, she'll heal like a lot, and you really like it. Also, the fact that she she may drain her HP, but there's nothing to worry about. She'll she'll not die though. She'll just retain some of her HP. Well, this video is gonna be kind of pain to watch because of my coughing, but maybe I'll try to like not to talk that much. But yeah, I'll put Shinobu here. So who's next? Ayato. Last time I put Ayato on A tier, and I would still do the same. I've said the reason on this before on the last video, but I will say it again that he's a he's very fun to he's kind of fun to play. Not like not very fun, but somewhat fun to play. Also, he works very well with crowd characters like Ganyu. Their bursts are very similar, and Ganyu has taunt, so Ganyu and Ayato, these two work together really good. Also, the fact that you can just hold left click on Ayato's elemental skill, and he'll just keep slashing. It's just good. I really like it. He's been on my Abyss team for some time since I got him. Well, he may not seen floor 12 that many times though, because I bring someone else. Like I do have my own overused team for the Abyss. But still, floor 12 kinda changed a lot except one overused team. And speaking of that, there's already one of our core member of the overused team, Zhongli. So he is definitely going to be here. His shield is very strong, but there's a downside for being a very strong shielder is the fact that you will rely on his shield too much, you forgot how to dodge. But again, if you don't know how to dodge, his shield will be your best friend. And his burst is a crowd control. If you like again, I don't know how should I say on this one, but you can make him become like a nuke if you build him correctly. But I built him like not really a good way on building him though, because but 4-piece tenacity on Zhongli is let's say that it doesn't work that well. Maybe I'll just change to archaic and tenacity, but I don't have time to farm artifacts for now. So basically, Zhongli has a decent amount of... For Zhongli, I would say this is a decent amount of HP for a kind of not fully focused on shielding, because as you can see, it's nothing impressive. Thanks to the Jade Spear, his crit rate really bumped up, because just look at my artifact, they're just kind of horrible in terms of crit rate. But overall, he's a good character, and if his banner come back, you better roll for him. Now for Yunjin, last time she's on good tier, and I still see her the same. Yunjin is a normal attack support, and she does a great job on doing so. She has kind of similar play style on her skill to Beidou, but the thing is, the timing is kind of different on both characters. Like I said before, that their timings are different, so may take some time to adjust to it. But anyway, Yunjin is a very, very essential for your normal attack focused character like Ayato or Yuemia. Maybe there are other people too, but Ayato and Yuemia really benefits from Yunjin's burst. Definitely higher than Cookie for that juicy normal attack support. And speaking of normal attack, here comes Yuemia. She's on a strong tier last time, and I would still put her there. Below Ayato though, because Yuemia, being a bow character that focus on normal attack, the problem is you are pretty much a single target attacker. But being a single target means that your damage on single target is extremely high, and Yuemia really excels on doing so. And with the addition of Jilan, Yuemia really shines. She shines with Yunjin. Her problem is that she cannot synchronize with Xingqiu really well, but with Jilan, haven't tested yet, but I think Jilan and Yuemia works well together. But I know for sure that Yuemia and Yunjin love to be with each other because normal attack support is what Yuemia really needs. And then Yanfei, a strong DPS, but kind of selfish due to the fact that she needs all that field time. For me though, I am not a Yanfei main, but I do play some Yanfei. Good tier, because of her C4, her shield is really good. Even though I do not have her at C4. But from what I've seen, her C4 is really great. Now for Mikko. Yaimiko is you could say that Yai is a sub DPS. Yeah, she's a sub DPS, or some can put her as a main. Well, she has her role with her turret. And despite their not so good targeting, her turret recovers very fast, so you can keep spamming the turrets almost forever. But she is not at a strong tier, and I had a reason for it due to her poor targeting capabilities. And the fact that her burst needs 3 turrets to be up on the field, and not to mention that it takes a lot of her on-field time, which means your DPS will suffer a little bit. But again, she's a good sub DPS though, if you only care about her turrets after all. Kinda good for Eula too, if your Raiden is somewhere else. I tried Yaya and Eula already. Like, even though it's not as good as Raiden and Eula, Yaya can still do her job on applying Electro. So Xiongyun, here's the thing. Being a year 1 4-star character is kinda suffering in a bit though, due to the fact that she debuted in the same banner with Zhongli, but that's before Zhongli got fixed. But again, due to the fact that Zhongli got fixed, almost every other shooter kind of pale compared to him. Xiongyun is kind of unique for the fact that let's say it's not really unique in terms of split scaling. There are a lot of characters that have split scaling, but the thing is, being a pyro physical damage dealer is what hurts Xiongyun the most, in my opinion. Her shield is kind of fine, except at a very low level, and it's just more like a paper. But again, Her physical damage dealing capability is good if like her passive is up. This one, first of all, is this one, the sweeping fervor. Yeah, you need her E first, then you pop up your Q. But here's the problem. Due to this thing, if this thing also scale on defense, Xiongyun will be somewhat better. But the thing is, it is not, which is very sad. But again, she has a Skyward Pride, which is probably her best in slot. Even though White Blind exists, Skyward Pride just does his job better, in my opinion. My Xiongyun, however, really needs more investment on defense. But hey, she still does her job fine. So where am I placing her? She was at D tier before. I think I will just I'll move her up one tier, because this patch is probably once in a while that I actually get to place Xiongyun a lot. Because here, my 2.8 lineup, Kazuha, Fischl, Mona, and Xiongyun. To be honest, Xiongyun does not receive benefit from superconduct. It's more like a Kazuha really just absorb everything. But Xiongyun play a crucial role for being a shielder for this team, despite the fact that her shield is not really good, but a shield is a welcome. Any shield is a welcome, to be honest. So yeah, she'll be on C tier due to the fact that she has her goods, except that she just got really bad treatment on terms of scaling. If only her burst scale on defense though, she'll be on a B tier. So, yep, here comes one of the very overworked character, Xingqiu, core of the national team, and of course the always being your pyro DPS team, Xingqiu. I think I'll put him. These two, Xingqiu and Jilan, they are very identical in terms of their support capability due to their burst. It's like a coordinated attack. But the thing is, Xingqiu, due to the fact that Xingqiu synchronized with a lot of pyro DPS, he is much more favored, and the fact that he's a 4-star means that he is easier to be obtained comparing to Jilan, whose banner came in 2.7, which is one update earlier, and there is no idea when will she get her rerun. So yeah, Xingqiu is easy. So basically, Xingqiu is easier to obtain and easier to C6, which is very good. C6 Xingqiu is just very good. And of course, synchronizing with a lot of pyro DPS makes him a very strong support. By the way, what's up with the top one, the Amber tier? Of course, it's only reserved for Amber. Here's the thing on Amber, I will just put her there. She'll always have this tier at the very top due to the fact that she is very multi-purpose. If you actually know how to play her, like if you actually did not abandon her from the very beginning, if you keep on investing on her, she'll like pay you back a lot. Here's the thing, being a pyro means that your DPS is already good in terms of elemental reaction, because melt is very strong, even though most pyro DPS prefer vaporize, like Yuemia or Diluc or Utau. Amber is probably in from what I've seen, Amber is probably one that prefer melt over vaporize, due to the fact that being a single target means that being a single target and charge shot focus, unlike Yuemia, who is a normal attack focus, which means that the cryo application for Amber is going to is going to be somewhat slow comparing to applying Hydro. Xingqiu and Jilan applies Hydro very fast, which are very good for those normal attackers. But for charge shot, and the fact that Xingqiu and Jilan's burst only works on normal attack, means that Amber does not receive any benefit from those. Like, even if she does, it's just not that good comparing to melt. Also, there's like a lot of builds for her, but very common one are just charge shot, because like it's probably easiest way to play Amber. Charge shot, you just apply cryo and then send Amber to the front line, then shoot, bam, there you go. There's a big number of damage. If you like put her some good artifacts and give her some good support, maybe like even just a single cryo. I mean, to be honest, Amber and another cryo character will work well, especially Ganyu. Like, ever since Ganyu came out, she's has been one of the best support for melt Amber, in my opinion. Because there are some other alternatives as well. But again, there is also another one of the more used version is a support Amber. By having her C6, which is kinda impossible for most people, except you lucky people out there, or those who play very early and manage to get her from the shop. I mean like she has come into the shop rotation for like 4 times already. Yeah, 4 times. So basically, if you play very early, manage to get Amber Constellation on shop every time, you'll have her at C4. And if you get lucky on your standard banner rolls, if you manage to get another 2 Amber, you already got her C6. And her C6 is basically is very support oriented. Increasing movement speed and attack means that when you have her C6, she is going to be a even better support. And on top of that, she's one of the best elegy holder. Her burst can get stacks very quickly. On top of that, she only has 40 energy cost, and her burst end very fast. Even though her burst damage may not be that much, but being a fast burst, getting fast elegy stacks, and if you have her at C6, man, she'll be a great support, and you'll definitely like her a lot. But again, there are some other people who play her in a more aggressive way, which is physical. It's basically just you put a skyward harp on her and put a pale flame and bloodstain as her artifact set. Just and just make sure that you have some support which are superconduct. A cryo and an electro support will be very good for physical amber. And again, physical amber is just very common in solo. Because of being physical, she just deal damage even faster comparing to melt. Like melt requires some setup, which means solo is impossible. Unless you're soloing a cryo hypostasis, but that thing's is an old story. Yeah, being able to do a lot of damage by yourself is a very good thing for Amber. Like, she can do a lot of things if you actually didn't abandon her in the very beginning. Anyway, let's move on. We got Xiao. Here's the thing. I do not have Xiao. I tried him a lot. He's quite fun to play around. Only the problem is that he just has energy problem. Because his burst, once his burst is active, his skill does not generate energy. So it means that if his burst is up, he gotta kill people to get energy back, which is already a problem. Another problem is he is quite focused on plunging attack, and plunging attack on a small enemies will keep sending them flying and basically have a problem that they will just went flying around, which means they will probably survive most of your plunging attacks. And this is quite a problem to me. Even though he's fun to play, when dealing with small mob is quite a problem without another crowd control. He was on D tier before, but I would say I'll move him on C tier, just because he's very fun. Just because he's quite a fun character to play around. Anyway, Xiangling, another core of the national team, and my savior for 2.7 Abyss, due to the fact that I run Mikko on that Abyss, along with Xiangling. Both Yae and Xiangling works well together for an overload. However, Xiangling normally is a very good power applier and quite very popular for a free character. First of all, Xiangling is probably the reason why people just ditch Amber out. Here's the thing: she's not only she's free from 3.3 Abyss, she's on every banner, like event, weapon, even or standard. She will always be on banner. You'll always get her constellation, and you'll get her C6 very fast. And if you get her C6, she's just very good support. Not to mention, her burst is really strong too. The only problem for Xiangling is that Goba, he's kinda stupid. Yeah, Goba is just stupid. But anyway, Xiangling is still a very strong support, and I really like her. But the thing is, she's probably one of the reasons why people ditch Amber, and prior to 2 point something, like maybe 2.4 or 2.5, I did not even consider building Xiangling because of that. So I do not know of her potential until like few updates ago. So yeah, if I was around a year ago, I would put Xiangling in D tier just because of my personal bias. But now that I have seen her capabilities, yeah, my bias cannot win on this one. She'll be on a strong tier for being a good support. Only what's holding her back is Goba. Yeah, if only she was accompanied by another crowd control or someone who can keep your enemies stay put and very close range so Goba can hit something. Yeah, like Animal Traveler really is a good support for Goba. But again, Traveler. Yeah, so yeah, let's just put Traveler. Basically, I'll just group Ether and Lumin together as a simple Traveler due to the fact that here's my point of view on Traveler. They're a jack of all trades and master of none. The thing is, both the Travelers can switch elements to their choosing, and the thing is, Geo is probably the best element for Traveler. Electro is kind of meh, and Anemo is fine, but Geo is the best. But the thing is, being jack of all trades means that when comparing to other characters in their elements, they are definitely a better option than using Traveler. But there are some dedicated person. So anyway, I'll just put Traveler above Xiongyun for the fact that Geo has the best capabilities in terms of exploration and their usage. But other than that, Electro Traveler, like I said, is just meh. Animal Traveler is fine, and their Wind Blade is cool. But other than that, I cannot think of anything else. So what's next? Venti. A very good old days, like I said in the last video, would be on a very strong tier. Or to be honest, he will have his own tier. He's really strong at crowd control. But again, 2.0 makes Venti really weak due to the fact that many enemies are kinda resistant to crowd control. But again, more getting fixed and yeah, he's fine. He's fine. Yeah, let's just say that he's fine. But like if it's like 2.0, he would be at C tier. But as of now, he is a very beginner friendly, except the fact that his last banner is in 2.6, which is few days ago. Have no idea when will he come back though. He'll be on A tier. If Sumeru came out and there are even more enemies that resist to crowd control, Venti will lose his tier by 1 or 2 depending on amount of enemies that resist crowd control. To be honest, most animal character will lose their tier by 1 or 2 depends on enemies. Like most enemies are able to be crowd controlled, but since 2.0 came out, people just had doubt that more enemies will just being unable to be crowd controlled, which makes Animal look kinda sad. So yeah, if 3.0 came out and I see many enemies are just unable to be crowd control, he will Venti and other animal character, but that will be put on this tier list, will lose their tier by 1 or 2. Depends. Anyway, what's next? Toma has quite a problem. He is a shielder. Even his bursts give more shield. He's just very defensive person. But the problem is the cooldown and somewhat energy problem. But if you have C4 Toma, your energy problem will be kinda solved. But again, it's kinda solved. Toma's problem is that shielder very focused on shielding, and his burst is his damage from burst is kinda slow, in my opinion, which makes him kinda sad to run around. But if you are dedicated, you can make him work out. I'm just sorry, I'm not much of a dedicated person to Toma, so he'll be on D tier. Like last time, he'll be on D tier because the fact that I'm not dedicated enough to find a way to make Toma being better than what he is. So what's next is Child. The very first Archon of Rerun showed up on a lot of banners, but the last time, when was the last time? 2.2? Yeah, 2.2. But at the time that he came out, he is really strong Hydro DPS, and now I think he is still a strong Hydro DPS. But then there's Ayato too. So basically these two. But these two are Ayato and Child are very strong Hydro DPS. Only problem for Child is that his skill cooldown based on the duration that he's using it. Could be a problem if you are not a quick swap person. Not a problem if you are a quick swap though. So basically if you are a quick swap person, if like you're being a quick swap, he'll be on strong tier. If you're not, he'll be on good tier. He's like between these two tiers. I just cannot but to be honest, I'll put him here. He's strong, but the thing is you tend to be kind of forgotten on how long your skill has been active on Child. So anyway, Sucrose is one of the very first damage showcase lineup. Very common on the old day damage showcase lineup. But again, damage showcase lineup has already been changed. Sucrose is still strong. Like really strong. She is a very good resonance shredder. Good crowd control, even though Venti's crowd control is better than Sucrose, but at least Sucrose is easier to access too. Well, I'll put Sucrose behind Venti for the reason that Venti's crowd control is just better than Sucrose. Even despite Sucrose easier of access, Venti just has more utility comparing to Sucrose, because Sucrose is just there for elemental shred. Venti can be used for many occasions like exploration, crowd control. Yeah, something like that. Sucro is just there for elemental shred. Nothing else, to be honest. Then Shanna. Shanna is a very strong cryo support and a physical support, but she prefer cryo more than physical. I had Shanna on NA, tried her already, and I would say very strong indeed. Only the problem is that her constellation that makes Shanna really broken is C6. Unless you are aware, your Shanna is not gonna be as strong as you would think. The thing is a support in terms of hit count. Like if you're pairing with Ayaka, your damage buff will be gone quickly. But if you're pairing with Ganyu or like bow characters, the buff will last a little longer. But again, it depends on the character she's buffing. If she buffs like Ayaka, your buff is gone pretty fast. If like Ganyu, your buff is somewhat slow, gone somewhat slow. And even if like someone in a Xiongyun circle, if it's like a melee user, your buff gonna be gone pretty fast. But yeah, like I would say, she's a strong support. For bow character, she would be here. For sword character, she would be behind Sucrose. Again, it's just my opinion. Anyway, let's move on with Sayu, our little Sonic. Very interesting character, but there are problems with Sayu. She does not crowd control for an animal character like Xiao does. Like Xiao, Sayu is not a crowd controller. She's more of a I don't know how should I say this one. She's more of a making a havoc. Just roll into the formation of your enemy and then causing havoc. That's what Sayu does. And her burst is a healing type, which is very useful. But for an animal character without ability to crowd control means that your kid is kinda crippled, to be honest. So being unable to crowd control and probably not some sort of DPS but more about wreaking havoc, unlike Xiao, who is a extremely strong animal DPS, Sayu will be placed lower than Xiao. So for next one is Kokomi, a very strong healer, probably the best healer. Yeah, the best healer. She is definitely on here, being a best healer, despite the fact that people not really like the fact that Kokomi has her passive that cripples her damage dealing capability, but instead makes her being more of a hospital. Like, to be honest, with Kokomi in your team, she's literally a walking hospital. Like if you compare like Kukumi healing to like our healer, the other healer is just pale in comparison to Kukumi. But again, it's just built. Kokomi is just built different. I mean, your healer probably built in a different ways comparing to Kokomi. So there's a point. But if Kokomi is fully built, focusing on healing, like I said, she's a walking hospital. everyone will be, literally no one will die on her watch. She's strong simply because of her healing capabilities. Her damage dealing though is probably is like same situation with Cookie. Low damage dealing, but a very good healing capability. So what's next? Rosaria. Rosaria is a very good cryo applier. The fact that she is, and the thing is, she is very accessible too. But the problem of Rosaria is her model has been nerfed many times, which is kind of sad. But that's not not much of a problem to me. All I care is that she still retain her support capability. She is a crit rate supporter, and a very good one. Except that my Rosaria is not built. But at a certain point she was, and she really does a great job for me too. I would like if I could revisit her again, it would be great. But the problem is, artifact farming has not been nice to me. So yeah, Rosaria will stay like this for a long time, even though I have her C6. But with C6, Rosaria is even better for a physical support. So basically, a crit rate supporter and an even further physical supporter when you have her C6. Pretty strong, right? But not strong enough. I would put her somewhere around here. The next one is Racer. Last time he's on D tier simply because the fact that Eula exists. To be honest, I could have put Xiongyun on D tier as well because Eula exists. Racer is like your best friend before Eula came out for physical damage dealer. But Racer came too late for me. He came in a moment that I don't need Racer anymore. To be honest, I don't tend to run physical focus team, so I never have a chance to try Racer out that much. But again, I do. But again, I do know how he's played. And I would say he will still be in D tier for me. It's just that Eula exists. Even though he's he's an electro user, unlike Xiongyun, who could have been more reasonable to be like this. To be honest, these two are more reasonable to swap their position, but in my opinion, I prefer Xiongyun more than Racer, due to the fact that Xiongyun at least has defensive capability. Racer is more of a offensive focus, and the problem for the offensive focus is I don't know how should I say on the problem with the offensive way to offensive focus. Well, maybe I'll be able to explain it when we reach Utau. But again, Utau's case is not like Racer. So basically, let's just say that Racer. Let's just say that the reason why he's there's a big reason for it, and that is his personality. I just don't like it. Even though he's a good boy, I just don't like it. So the next one, Raiden Shogun. Definitely S tier. Just look at her. Just look at it. Raiden is a very definition of battery. Only that I didn't have her constellation, or else even if I do, she'll be even more broken. But I do not. Which is a shame, but the thing is, even for C0 Raiden, she's already a strong DPS and a very good battery too. The other fact that her bursts restore energy. And just look at all that wall of text. Well, at this point, people already know what Raiden can do, so I'll just not say it and just put her in very strong tier because yeah, she is a very strong damage dealing and a very good battery, and the fact that she is a core member of my overused team, she has to be on this one. A very strong tier. There's no other place that she belongs to other than this one. Let's move on to Chi-Chi, our most favorite spook of all time. So what Chi-Chi can do is she's a heal. First of all, she's a healer. And for being a healer that has somewhat interesting scaling, let's see, where's Chi-Chi? An interesting scaling because Chi-Chi scales on attack rather than HP, which means that Chi-Chi can be your little DPS too, if you build her that way. For her healing capability, is just very good. She's one of the strongest healer in the game. Before Kukumi came out, Chi-Chi is the strongest. There is no other option. There's no debate. Chi-Chi is the strongest healer before Kukumi. So now that Kukumi has arrived, Chi-Chi will be the second best healer. But the problem is her constellations are kind of weak. Here's the thing, for first constellation, basically give her 2 energy for every hit with her thingy mark, which is something that should be added on her kit, to be honest. To be honest, most of her constellation are nothing much. Nothing interesting, to be honest, for Chi-Chi's constellation. And the fact that Chi-Chi is the only standard character in my account that does not reach C2. I mean, look at our standard 5-star character that I have. Diluc is at C2. Keqing is at C2. Jean is at C2. Mona is at C2. And then there's Chi-Chi, who is still C0. She doesn't spook on me, but she keeps spook on other people. Very sad indeed. I just want to feel the sadness of being spooked by Chi-Chi. She just never come, except that one time that I just rolled her and I was very happy about it. Again, she'll be on a good tier if only her constellation is not bad. The next one that I'll be rating is Noel. A very definition of one girl army. But being one girl army is good, but but her power is not comparable to other character on above tier. She is definitely the your last stand. Her defensive capability is good. Her healing is okay, and her damage dealing wise is also good. If you have her C6, she is definitely she's basically a tank, a one woman army at her peak. She's really a strong character, but I cannot rate her any higher because it's just that other characters are just stronger than her. Well, but again, Noel got her probably her best support, which is Goro. I'll rate him later. But first of all, let's go with Ninguang. One of the few Geo characters that scales pretty different comparing to others. So first of all, Ninguang is a DPS. Her skill is basically a screen that blocks damage, and the thing is, it's scaled. It is not scaled on. It's scaled on HP, but the damage doesn't scale on HP. Anyways, basically she is just a DPS, but there's nothing else. Her screen doesn't block enemy from approaching you anyway. It just block projectiles. She is a DPS, but nothing else. Just a DPS. So she'll be here. She's not bad. It's just that she's only a DPS. Nothing else. I cannot find a way to like play her in a different role. Well, she do have a gimmick of displaying an ore, but to be honest, is not useful anymore, because by this time you would already memorized many locations of ores, and even with expedition you don't even need to mine. Sorry. Anyway, let's move on. Mona, one of the damage showcase lineup, and she's still a good support to this day, but nowhere near the top tier. Here's how my Mona looks like, even though she kinda steal artifact from other people, and her talent is still not high. C2 Mona, by the way. Her artifact is not an optimal choice, but again, I had nothing much. She is using Amber right now because in the 2.8 lineup that I have been running, there is no dedicated healer, so Amber Mona will suffice. Even though usually I'll put Mona on an Atlas. Yeah. Again, she's a very good support, but nowhere near the top tier support right now. Let's move on to the next one, Lisa. I ranked her at C tier before, I remember it. But now that I have Lisa at C4, where is she? Here, Lisa is at C4. Her artifact would look like this. What Fischl is carrying right now is basically what Lisa had before, and her weapon would be Kagura instead of Solar Pearl, but again, since Yae is using, Lisa has to use Solar Pearl instead. I have tested Lisa already, and I would say I'm impressed. Earlier on, the reason why I put her on C tier is because I haven't tested her enough, and the fact that I still don't have her C4. Now that I do, I'm quite satisfied. So she'll be moved up by 1 tier. The next one is Kujo Sara. A more generalist support, but a dedicated electro support when she's on C6. Well, my Sara is very built to be support, but the fact that I only have her C2. But look at C6. It's a 6 second 60% crit damage buff for electro character that deals electro damage. So basically she's a very good support for like Raiden, Yae, and Lisa. Like, to be honest, every electro character that is on the infusion during the time that they got her 6 second buff. The problem, like I have already said it, her problem is that the buff, it lasts for only 6 seconds. 6 seconds means that you probably do not have time to do anything much, but for like Raiden, Kaching, or like Catalyst character, they'll be enjoying that 60% crit damage boost from Sara. Sara is basically, and the thing that saves Sara is that her skill can buff many characters. There's no need to be electro to receive her buff. You just only have to stay in her area of effect. And her C2 really helps too. Basically, what C2 does is that she spawn the buff circle that doesn't generate energy, but it's still a buff circle. You still have another buff circle on your disposal though. Yeah, that's the good thing of C2 Sara. But again, Sara's buff only lasts for 6 seconds, so gotta make use of those 6 seconds before it becomes useless. So the next one is Clee. My very first 5-star character, and came home very early too. Only problem for Clee is that let's just show her up. Give me a moment. Here's the problem. Here we even have, let's take a look with Lisa in comparison. You see the problem, right? Clee's attack is a projectile, which means it has a chance of it takes some time to hit enemies. While Lisa, on the other hand, let's just find a dummy. No need, like, we're not comparing the damage. We just see the problem on Clee's attack. Here, watch. See? Lisa's already hit, and Clee takes some time. It may not be that fast. It may not be that long though. But the thing is that it takes time, and and it can miss too. and she has a very short range. I mean, her charge attack is even shorter. It's even shorter. I mean, just look, comparing this to that. Her Clee's charge attack has a very short range, and level and terrain height difference too. Well, to be honest, Catalyst character has height disadvantage. Well, that's probably not something. Well, here's the thing. Well, let's just forget that. Let's just forget what I said earlier. Basically, her charge attack is an angled attack, which is quite good for an enemy hiding somewhere around here. But again, to be honest, many charge attack can hit behind cover. The problem is that Clee can only attack ground targets. Why don't we check something out that we can see. Yeah, like this one. The problem of Clee is that she can only attack ground targets. And here, let me show you. It still hit, right?
Hey!
No, it doesn't hit. I'll just wait for the guy to fly up. I'll just wait for the guy to fly up. Anyway. Anyway, can you fly up, please? I just want to show that the problem of Clee is that she can only attack ground target, and I've already shown you already. But on the other hand, I want to see if other catalysts have the same problem too. So can you fly? Like, do that one move, please. Come on, I don't have time for this. Just do that one move.
Huh?
See? Lisa can see what happened earlier? Lisa's attack hit the guy. While Clee cannot do that. That's the problem on Clee. She can only attack ground target, while some other catalyst user can attack aerial targets. Which means her effectiveness is already limited to ground target only. But she still does her job fine. But if you are thinking on taking Clee out to fight something else, that is flying, think again. So basically, she was on C tier before. I will still put her on C tier. Just because that she is just... Because being a catalyst that cannot attack air target, her range is limited. Like, very limited, to be honest. And being a projectile, it cripples her really much. Really cripples her. So what's next? Ka-ching. Kuching, I already triple crown her, you already see that. Kuching is like, in good old days, she's a very good DPS. But now her DPS role kinda outshadowed. But again, Kuching has place in our heart. And she really likes to spook in our roles too if you're on 50-50. Kuching is a very strong DPS in her days. Now she is still strong, but again there is Raiden Shogun, who is definitely a better choice for DPS in electro field. So yeah. Also not to mention, Kuching's infusion, due to being a year 1 character, Kuching's infusion can be overridden. With Bennett and Xiongyun, your Kuching will probably not having a good time. If you happen to have these two running around, and even if you have Bennett at C6, your Kuching will probably not like it. Also keep her away from Xiongyun unless you have a cryo goblet on her. Then yeah, you can put Xiongyun with your Kuching. So what's next? Ayaka. Ayaka, despite being a year 1 character, her playstyle is kinda like Kuching, but she's just better in a lot of ways. First of all is her way of getting infusion. Despite not being a triple crown, Ayaka simply gets her infusion by just a second of her sprint. She's already got her infusion. Kinda short skill cooldown. Her burst is kinda short duration, but still does her job. But the thing that makes Ayaka shine is that her ability to infuse to get cryo infusion at her will at any given time, as long as you have stamina, of course. That's why Ayaka is definitely a better sword user than Kuching. And the fact that Ayaka get benefit from Shanghai too makes it even better. Only that without C6, Ayaka, the buff on Ayaka will not last that long, and you'll probably do not like it. But again, Ayaka, very strong DPS. I like it so much. So what's next is Kaya. Kaya, he has a reputation for having a very high scaling on his burst, I think. Yeah, very high scaling indeed. But the fact that he is very short range person is kinda sad a little bit. Well, to be honest, many melee characters are short range. But here's the thing, Kaya's burst is, it follows him around, but in a very small area effect. Unlike Xiangling, which covers more area. Basically, Kaya is just covers smaller area than Xiangling, but Kaya has one reputation that no one will ever forget, is his bridge making capabilities. He is the only cryo character that that his cryo ability lasts longer on water comparing to other cryo characters. Well, Ayaka also has ability to make bridges too, but Kaya is the OG. but that reputation still doesn't save him from D tier though. I just cannot find a way to like him. So what's next? Kazuha. Kazuha, people doubt him in the beginning, and when 1.6 came out, he is really a strong person. It makes people really safe for him when his banner came in here. And speaking of which, his banner is still up for a whopping 13 days. Then Yuemia banner will come out, and that means that I gotta prepare my promo gems on NA server to get Yuemia. Anyway, Kazuha is the new face of the damage showcase lineup ever since 1.6. He dethroned Sucrose due to his crowd control ability and his support capability. Is much better comparing to Sucrose. But again, Sucrose still served her job fine. Kazuha just did it better. And here we have Jean, one of my overworked characters. Jean is a very strong animal user. Very well known for her skill, being able to yeet something all over the place, except that it costs stamina to do so. Well, it technically doesn't if you just click it right away. You just press the button right away. But if you hold it, it eats your stamina slowly. But again, it's probably not much of a problem. Being able to yeet stuff is her reputation. And of course, her healing capabilities, scaling from attack, means that is good. Because scaling with attack means that she still has capability of being a DPS. And of course, the Gale Blade is a very strong skill. Like, my Gale Blade does like 21k on crit. Maybe other people can do better than I do. But again, I'm proud with what Jean can does with her Festering Desire and not in a good shape artifacts. But as you see, my Jean has somewhat high attack stat, which means her healings are very good. Also, not to mention, Jean is being one of the characters that heals your whole team instead of healing the active person, which is why I'll put her high, because I like the fact that she heals the whole team, but not as strong as Kukumi. Kukumi, despite being a single target healer, or basically the active person healer, she basically like a walking hospital. She'll heal your character in no time, and then you just swap it. Jean, on the other hand, will on her burst, it's just very satisfying to see your whole team from having a red HP bar to a green. Maybe not a full green, but at least is more than enough to heal it. Not to mention, the healing afterward is very fast too, which means your health will be back very quickly, which is great. But the thing is, healing very quickly is what our next character doesn't like, Utau. Utau dethrones Diluc for being the strongest pyro DPS. And she has a gimmick of the lower her health, the more damage she does. And that's why she doesn't like healers. But the thing that I don't like about Utau is that due to the fact that you have to keep her health low, she is very prone to die in one hit, which is why Utau needs a shielder and a strong shielder to be clear. Yeah, you just need an even stronger shielder like Zhongli. And then you pair Utau with Xingqiu. Do not pair Utau with a healer if you want to make sure your damage capability remains high. Bennett is a good choice, but he heals. So, yeah. To be honest, I haven't run Utau in a long time, except this abyss where I need Utau to kill the cryo cube quickly. And she does her job. The only problem is I don't like red HP bar playstyle. So she is on a strong tier, of course. Definitely higher than these because her damage dealing capability is just very strong. So the next one is Goro. Goro is a dedicated Geo support. Due to the fact that Goro scale with defense, right? I have Goro, let me check. Yeah, he buffed defense, and even this, and he also scale on defense. Basically, what Goro does is giving extra defense to your character, and Noel likes defense, Ito likes defense, so there are already two people really want Goro in their team. Ito and Noel and Goro, these three. Well, not to mention 3 Geo means that Goro's skill will get the 3rd stack, which improves the Geo damage bonus, and that makes the Geo team very strong. Only problem is Goro's energy, but if you just put Feminist Bow on him, it's not gonna be a problem. Again, Goro has only one problem. He is dedicated to Geo support. Unlike Sarah, whose skill and burst can still support others, Goro is purely dedicated to Geo. He cannot support any other elements at all, which is the biggest problem. Now the next one is Ganyu, our very first broken characters back in the old days. She may not be broken anymore. I mean, Ayaka is much better DPS comparing to Ganyu, but I still hold Ganyu's very high due to the fact that her synergy with Amber is very strong. Her synergy with Ayato is very strong, and she has taunts like Amber. Not to mention 2 stack of taunts if you have C2 like Amber, who needs C4 to get 2 stack of taunts, which will come in handy. Ganyu's taunt can help Ayato's skill hit even more target. Ganyu taunt also make sure Amber get to shoot at safe distance while her bunny is on cooldown. Well, to be honest, Ganyu just has a lot of utility. Ayaka, on the other hand, is more focused on DPS rather than utility. I played Ayato and Ayaka together, and I would say that playing Ganyu with Ayato is more comfortable. Due to the fact that Ayaka's burst lasts only a few seconds, means that you cannot keep your enemies freezing forever. Which is why I will rank Ganyu higher than Ayaka like before, but definitely lower than Kazuha. Ganyu is high because of her utility. Ayaka is here because of her offensive focus rather than a support. She is an extremely good DPS, but Ganyu is more useful. in my opinion. So what's next is Fischl. A very good sub DPS before Yai came, even even until now. It seems like my coughing has come back again. Anyway, Fischl. Yeah, like I said, a very good sub DPS even until now. The only downside is that her skill has somewhat. Let's say that her skill basically has 12 seconds cooldown, because if he just cut the time that Oz is on the field, she just has 12 seconds cooldown before she can summon Oz again. But the thing is, C6 Fischl is extremely broken. Let's say that it's not broken. It's just very good. Yeah, it's just very good. Again, comparing to Yai, who needs 3 turrets to maximize her damage, Fischl just needs Oz. And which means her field time is not as high as Yai. Which means that your DPS can go out there and do their job. So what's next? Eula. The reason why Racer and Xiongyun should be at D tier is because Eula access the very definition of nuke. When she came out in 1.5, yeah, people be like farming for her crowd damage bonus, and then people just find that she does physical damage, and she does it very good too. I got her in like 2.2. Yeah, I got her in 2.3. Very good nuke indeed. Yeah, she's a very good nuker for a physical damage user, and she has a good synergy with Raiden because Eula's energy requirement is high, and she requires battery. Raiden serves as Eula battery, and provide constant superconduct means that Eula's burst will do even bigger nuke damage. Like, yeah, these two work really good together. There is probably no way you would run Eula without Raiden accompanying with her, unless you have other batteries, or you just don't have Raiden. You would run Eula with like Fischl or Mikko instead, and then you just put a cryo battery on your team, which is why Dauna exists. A cryo battery for Eula. Yep, Dauna has a lot of utility. She is more of a utility than a DPS. But again, there are some people who use Dauna as a DPS. You insane person. Anyway, Dauna. Here, let us look at Dauna. Where is she? Now I'm starting to forget where is my character. She is probably somewhere. I just can't find her. Maybe I just go a little slower. Yeah, there you are. So basically, Dauna. First of all, Dauna has shield. She can equip Sacrificial Bowl for more battery capability. Her burst heals. She heals pretty good. And then there's this whopping 200 elemental mastery on her burst. Yep, 200 elemental mastery is already good for elemental focus character, and Dauna just casually dropped flat 200 elemental, casually dropped 200 elemental mastery on her burst. Yeah, she may not work well on a physical team, but on an elemental team, her C6 really shines the most. well, if you are not running with Sucrose or Kazuha or Albedo, your Diana will definitely be a good choice in your. To be honest, Diana is a very good choice in your team. Despite the fact that her shield is weak, to be honest, comparing shield to Zhongli, everyone's shield is just weak. But Diana's shield still has some work, still has its job. The fact that you can equip Sacrificial Bow on Diana means that you get extra shield. No, not extra shield, it's just extra extra energy for your team, which is good. And not to mention her skill is a homing too, so basically it will most of the time it will hit targets. Again, most of the time doesn't mean it will always hit. Anyway, let's look at my Eula before we move on. So basically, even though my Eula is not crowned, she still does a lot of damage. Well, to be fair, I have Wolf Gravestone on her. Anyway, let's move on. We are only a few characters away from finishing this one. So, Diluc, as a person who doesn't like Diluc, due to the fact that in 1.0 he's a very good DPS, and when I see people's tier list they put Amber at D tier, I was very mad about it. Again, but I'm not denying the fact that Diluc is a very strong DPS, only the fact that Diluc came too late. He came in 1.6, which means I don't require another Pyro DPS anymore. So basically his DPS role is gone. Well, there are some people who can't find a way to have Diluc play as a support. Well, he has 40 energy cost, so he probably can run Noblesse. But again, I just don't have time to run that one. He's a I'll try to be less biased, because usually because last time I put him here purely because of my bias. But if I want to be a less biased, I'll put him on this one, higher than Clee, of course, because Diluc is definitely our starter account's best friend. His DPS capability is very strong. You'll love him if you got him early. But if you got him late, you will hate him, because he just spook into your 50-50. Move on to Xiongyun. Xiongyun is the bane of all melee characters existent who does not have an infusion that cannot be overridden. Xiongyun will turn everyone into cryo except bow and catalyst users. And that's quite a problem. Because like I said, during the old days, Keqing, like a strong DPS like Keqing, get overridden into a cryo from Xiongyun or pyro from C6 Bennett, it will definitely ruin her day. But Xiongyun is pretty strong for himself. He can do like quad melt, I think. Yeah, he can do quad melt, which is very great. But again, due to the fact that he ruins a lot of setup, he'll be here. Even below Ninguang, because Ninguang is still DPS, while Xiongyun is just ruin people's setup, even though his quad melt is very poggers when it hits. So let's move on. Sorry. So Bennett, of course, when you try Bennett once, he'll never leave your team. Definitely an S tier without further question. Pyro battery and overall great support, and works in almost every team except when you have C6 Bennett. Your non-pyro characters will suffer. Yep, really suffering. There is no need to explain any further on Bennett. I mean, to be honest, even for my Bennett, who is not even crowned but C6, he does his job really well on my overuse lineup. Like, here, let me show you my overuse lineup. This is the overused lineup that I have been talking about. Not many people have seen on it, but some people do. Anyway, basically, what this team does is that Raiden will always recover everyone's energy. Bennett does his job by tapping his Q, Zhongli's shield and then burst. Then Amber, who is equipping Elegy, does her job by doing burst. And if the stack is up, Raiden finished the job. That's simple. Everyone's energy just came back in just mere seconds. And then repeat. To be honest, with Raiden, you can just do what this team simply does and just repeat it. Only that the composition will be different. But again, it's just very strong for this team. Even though Raiden doesn't get full stack, it is still very strong. Let's move on. Beidou, one of my favorite sub DPS, and a very fun to play. Like I said on Yunjin before, Beidou has a parry mechanic that I'm very used to. Unlike Yunjin, who I cannot master her parrying capability because I just quickly tap her skill. While Beidou, on the other hand, I practice a lot, and I really enjoy playing Beidou. Except the fact that Beidou is, yeah, she lost her artifact to other characters, but she still has her luxuries. Very good sub DPS and a very fun character to play. Now move on. Barbara is the only 4-star with a 5-star burst animation and purely dedicated to healing, except for certain people who play Barbara offensively. Well, I myself play Barbara on a healing side, so I will put her on C tier, but at the lowest of C, because I did not use Barbara on any other aspect rather than healing. Well, she can use Training Tails, but it still doesn't make that much difference. Let's move on to the easier one before the last. Albedo and Alloy, these two will go on N tier 2. Because first of all, for Albedo, I do not have Albedo. I mean, look. First of all, I do not have Albedo. Second of all, I did not try him that much. And of course, I just do not find rolling Albedo very important. So basically, I kind of skip him. So in the end, I do not know how Albedo would work in my team, and I ended up don't know how I should rate him. Same goes with Alloy, despite the fact that I have Alloy on both accounts. Alloy is kinda different case. Being a cryo bow user when I have Ganyu already means that Alloy will be at the lowest priority in terms of getting an upgrade. She used Eula boss materials using Inazuma local specialties, and worst thing of all, she doesn't have constellations. Yep, the only problem, without constellation, there is no further potential for Aloy. That's why I did not try to play her for once. Anyway, to our very last character, Arataki Ito. Have him on NA, really enjoy his gameplay. He goes here as the very strong geo damage dealer. He will have his position here. Yeah, he'll be here. Like his cow. First of all, his cow is a taunt, and it can move around like Amber's bunny, which means your enemy will keep moving around. The taunt doesn't last long. His charge attack doesn't cost stamina, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it doesn't cost. Yeah, I think it doesn't cost stamina. And with 5 stack, you just go unga bunga. His burst also even strong. His burst also even stronger. Infusing with Geo cannot be overridden. Absolutely strong with Goro on a triple Geo lineup. Yeah, Ito is just cannot be. It's just hard to stop him unless you're fighting unless you're bringing a Geo slime to fight him. I mean, why would you do that anyway? But yeah, Ito will be on a very strong tier, simply because I approve it. I have proven his playstyle. I have proven his damage dealing. And the fact that I have Red Horn means that Ito's damage is very strong. So yeah, I think that's it for the 2.8 and 3.0 tier list for today. And oh boy, it has been a long recording session. Well, I guess this is it. Time to put an end to this recording session. Anyway, thanks for staying in such a long and horrible journey. I am still yet to be recovered, and I don't think I will make another videos anytime soon until I manage to find something that I can do without talking this much. Anyway, see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to. No need to be honest. I don't care that much, but yeah. See you guys later. I don't know when will I be here again. It just depends. And not to mention this, my semester will start soon, so my time on doing something like this will probably be even less. But again, when I do come back, I'll make sure to give something good. Yeah. Or at least I'll try. Anyway, I'll just stop talking. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye. And yeah, there's nothing else.